All right, what is up, YouTube? Today we got a special one for you. For those of you who don't know, I'm building a 6466 rotated 6-speed swap WRX with all the bells and whistles, ID 2000s injectors, dual 525 fuel pumps. We got a lot going on for this thing. Processless manifold, everything you could think to throw at a car, we're throwing it at it. But what I wanted to go over with you guys, and it's kind of special. There's not a ton of videos on it on YouTube. Is standalone. We're moving to full Haltech control over the Subaru. A lot of people don't cover it, and I want to go over it just so you guys can get a good understanding and even understand what's necessary from switching to Cobb to a Haltech or a setup like that, because obviously green speed affected a lot of us, or if it didn't affect you, some people want to migrate from a Cobb solution to a Haltech solution, or a factory setup to a standalone ECU. So I'm gonna kind of go over what I know to the best of my ability, and we're gonna go over and see just what I got, how to do it, the company that I used, and some trials and tribulations that I faced. So let's get to it. Let's go over it, and let's dig in. Okay, so something that I want to point out is that this is, obviously full standalone. We're adapting it to the ECU, but I will go over all the sensors that we have. This is not the only sensor that I am using that is included here. I have a lot of sensors from the previous setup that are going to be, migrated into the Haltech, but can be done so via the previous solutions that I have. So we're going to go into that and get into that specifically here in a bit, but we got a ton of stuff on the table. Super excited. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So first things first, obviously the most important thing that I want to go over is the ECU. So I decided to go with the Nexus S2 ECU. Got a pretty good deal on it, so ended up moving this route. For Subaru guys, I really recommend you get a Nexus S3. From all the companies that I talked to about it, it's a lot easier. It's enough more capable that you can do anything you'd ever want in the future with it. But got a good deal on this and going with this. But I really recommend all you guys get a Nexus S3, and all the companies that I'm about to mention are going to tell you the same thing. So even though I'm doing it, it can be done. Move to a S3 if possible. But went with the S2, has enough inputs and outputs for what we need. We're just maxing it out right now, and that's the only thing that I really don't like. But again, it works. It's going to get the job done. So not too much gripe with it. I wish I would have known that before I bought it, because I would have bought an S3 initially, but it's all right. This is going to get the job done, and it's going to take care of us. But obviously, new in Haltech's lineup is not the Elite Series. Kind of the big difference to this for me is you don't have to buy the WB1. WB1 is what controls your wideband, and it's a separate thing from the Elite Series ECUs that you used to have to buy. With this, it just comes with it on board, and then it also comes with a 4-bar map sensor, which is right there. So super good stuff, super nice. Would definitely recommend going with Nexus ECUs just because of that one thing. It pretty much is the cost difference right there. So get the Nexus series, and amazing stuff from Haltech. And then the next big component that we're going to be running is right here. This is the Haltech UC10 digital dash. So this I wanted to go with because I didn't want to put a bunch of gauges all over the car. I really don't love the way gauge is working. With this, you're able to see everything gauge wise that you could ever see with gauges. So oil pressure, oil temperature, coolant temperature, E85 content, anything you wanted to see, you can see on here. And this is just a great place for live data. So ended up going with this. And then the next thing I kind of wanted to get into was P&L Motorsports. I decided to work with P&L Motorsports on all of this. It's an amazing company. I've done 2 transactions with them. The first thing that I ordered was the Haltech keypad and the Haltech mount for the UC10 and the UC10 itself through them. They got that to me fast. I had some friends that ordered it through other companies, and I had ordered it maybe a month after them and got it probably within the same week that they did. So they're able to get it to you fast. They're local, they're stateside. A lot of the companies that do Haltech stuff are from Australia, obviously, because Haltech is in Australia. But having a company in America that can get everything sent out to you and make it very simple and very easy, I very much appreciate. So use P&L Motorsports. They help me with everything else you're about to see. And just wanted to preface that before we got into it. So let's get into the big stuff. So this adapter right here is the P&L Motorsports adapter harness that adapts your Haltech ECU via these two right here to your factory wiring harness. This is super important because it is what makes this a plug and play option and what makes this not so scary to move to. You don't have to make a new wiring harness. You don't have to make it something super complex. All you have to do is buy this P&L Motorsports harness and the rest is simple. So this is super quality stuff. They give you all the pinouts. And again, when you contact P&L, they're going to ask you about your build. They're going to ask you what you have going on, and they're going to wire this specific for you. Whether you're using AC or you're not using AC, they make sure that you are taken care of from front to back. And the other thing that P&L does that's pretty special is they allow the Haltech to control DCCD via this harness right here. We're going to get into that a bit, but let's stick on this harness right here. So good quality stuff, pinned it and wired it for everything that I needed specifically. And then these two as well. So this is the addition that allows you to have a CAN hub, which is this guy right here, which I also bought through P&L. This allows you to connect additional Haltech accessories. So that is going to allow for the UC10 to be added to the ECU, and is what is also going to allow for the Haltech CAN 4x2 keypad to be added. So they add that straight into the harness, so you don't have to worry about it. And the second thing that they add right here is the WB1. So like I was talking about, this has an onboard WB1. It just allows wideband control directly from the ECU. And that's what this pin is right here. So there's going to be an adapter and a harness that goes from here to the wideband itself. But that's what that does. Super quality, super nice wiring, super protective, heat shield right here. So thank you, P&L, for that. That was amazing stuff. Let's get into the rest of their product line. So this is the next thing that I wanted to go over. This does a few different things. Right here, this is what powers flex fuel. This is the connector for your 6-speed STI transmission. And what you'll notice is, I don't remember which one is which, so don't fry me too hard in the comments, but one of these is Rear 02 and one of these is the factory transmission connector harness. What this does is allow you to power DCCD, and what this also allows you to do is power flex fuel. So you're running flex fuel through the Rear 02, and that's essentially how the ECU is seeing that flex fuel input. And then you're also powering the DCCD so that the ECU can control it as well. That is super special because you don't have to buy an aftermarket controller. The ECU will do it itself. And it's super nice that P&L does this because it saves you quite a bit of money. This harness might have been like $100, and that $100 stops you from spending probably around $1,000 for aftermarket DCCD control. So thank you, P&L, and doing this just makes it super simple and super easy for you to have a WRX, go to, Haltech, and honestly, it eats a lot of the cost of the standalone itself, because instead of having to spend $1,000 on getting a DCCD controller, aftermarket DCCD controller, you use this and it gets the job done for you. So huge shout out to P&L for this. This is an amazing product and can't wait to use it on the car. So the next P&L product that I want to go over was this right here, which is their mounts. This is a super baller mount. Everything fits perfect, looks really good. And again, I know there's that big cutoff, so it does cut off a portion of the screen. However, that's what most of these do. Obviously, that's how the factory mounting looks like, and that's the only way to get it to fit. So understand 100% why they do it. But super baller mount. The other mount of theirs that I also used was the keypad mount right there. So that keypad mount is from P&L as well. Fits in the DCCD box area. If you have a STI, I don't know that I would use that mount, but for a WRX, when you're, swapping in a STI transmission, I would definitely use it. Definitely think about it, because that button, you're really not ever going to use. So it makes it so that it's actually usable space now. Now you might be asking, how the hell are you going to plug this in to the ECU? Do you have to wire it in? Do you have to splice it in? Use P&L. So, oh, that's not good. This right here is the jumper harness for the ECU, the factory ECU connector right here, to the back of the EC10. So this guy, sorry, I'm using one hand, plugs in right there. What this does is just makes it so you can get every single input that the factory ECU sees. So that's what that is right there. This is for parking brake switch as well as fuel level. So these you actually have to splice in because it is a separate harness that it goes to, but that right there. And I believe this cost me $100. If you see different iWire solutions are around 400. If you use P&L for the entire setup, they make sure that it all flows together, and it's gonna save you some money. So huge shout out to P&L there. And again, something else I wanted to go over right here is when you plug that in, it has this this switch right here. This will actually plug straight into this wire, which plugs into the CAN hub. So this wire is how you will eventually get it into the CAN hub to actually make everything speak to each other. There is a CAN high and CAN low communication network from Haltech that allows everything to communicate with each other. So super cool that they do it. And it's cool that you're able to integrate everything together via that CAN network. So super cool stuff from P&L. Sorry guys, I might be sounding like I'm glazing P&L, but I had a really bad experience with another company, got ripped off, didn't send me most of my order, didn't send me my adapter harness, didn't send me all kinds of stuff. And so I'm never going to use them ever again. So making sure you guys know P&L is the way. And there's a couple other companies that do it that I'm sure are good. I just didn't use them. And after this experience with P&L, I want you guys to be protected and know that, you know, there are good companies that can help and can do all this for you. And so, yeah, P&L's who I use, and P&L's treated me amazing. So definitely a big shout out to them. This right here is the oil pressure sensor that we are going to be using. And it is actually pressure and temperature. So this is going to go into the top of the block. P&L also make sure to include the bung that you're going to need to screw this into. So you're taken care of there as well. And that harness in there is actually their adapter harness. So that is what allows you to put it into TGV so that it actually reads it. But again, amazing product from P&L. Obviously, this is race car stuff only. So, you know, it's the way to do it. But yeah, it's super seamless, super easy. Goes into your TGV port and allows you to read oil temp and oil pressure. So again, nice to have P&L in my corner so that they got me covered from all angles. And now for the last thing that they actually sent me, this right here. Now, you might be asking yourself, Alex, is that a USB? What the hell is this for? This is all the instructions you need for everything I just saw. Whether it's pin layouts, pin diagrams, this is stuff that your tuner is going to need. It's super important that a company actually takes care of you on this and sends you all the information that you could ever possibly need about your setup. So, again, amazing stuff from them. It helps a lot that they include this. So thank goodness. Now, the next thing I wanted to go over was how you integrate your old COV setup, how you take some of those additional sensors and integrate them into the new Haltech system. So let's go over that. All right, guys. So really, this is what helps everything else integrate into your factory harness. And I kind of wanted to go over some things. So currently, I had a COV flex fuel setup, and I also had a COV fuel pressure setup. And then I had an iWire IAT setup, and I had a iWire map sensor upgrade kit. So because I have this, the iWire IAT sensor will work perfect. The iWire map sensor will also work perfect. And then the COV fuel pressure setup, which you can see right there, will also work. So for those of you who don't know, COV fuel pressure goes into your TGV. I believe it's your passenger side TGV. So that is what you'll actually be using to power fuel pressure. The only thing that you are going to have to switch is flex fuel. So if you can see might be down there somewhere. I had the Cobb flex fuel sensor. So the wiring for the sensor did have to change. They move it to a different spot because you also are powering your DCCD as well. It's a really good way to do it. It's a really good way to utilize that. But it makes it so that, you know, you'll have working DCCD, and not only will you have working DCCD, you'll have working flex fuel as well. So that is the only sensor harness that I'm going to have to change that I already had. Everything else will work. The IAT sensor works. The map sensor will work. The fuel pressure will work, and I don't even have to change the harnesses to them. So because of this, it will adapt it all and makes it from going to access port to standalone very, very easy. So super nice stuff there. So yeah, that is pretty much the Haltech overview of everything that I have laid out in front of me right now. Makes it super easy when you work with the company who is taking care of everything for you, because they know how it's going to adapt in everything, how it's going to work together, how it's going to communicate. I'm also going to be having them do the base map for the car as well. So that, you know, everything's calibrated correctly, everything's running right, and everything is where, you know, they said it would be. So super happy with P&L. Again, the company I used before was terrible, never responded to me, never talked to me. You know, guys, if you ever feel like you're getting ghosted, you probably are. So, you know, had to, you know, take care of things on that end, but ended up getting taken care of, switching to P&L, and P&L got me taken care of. They told me it'd be 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure I got it in under 2 weeks. So they made it, got it sent out to me, and again, custom to my setup as well. So we're gonna get to installing it here soon, but I just wanted to do this video as a general overview of how to switch from, you know, access port or stock, maybe your forget the term for it, open source tuned. You know, this is how you go from any of those to being on a standalone setup. So really not that hard. Talk to the company, you know, and they'll give you a better understanding and help you get through that process. So P&L's who I use. P&L helped me quite a bit. Huge shout out to them. If you need anything or are looking for anything, I highly recommend you use them. And yeah, so let's get to it. And on the next video, you guys will get to see us installing this. So bye, guys.